I'm Ramesh Awasthi, the present chairperson of Indian Renaissance Institute. My journey started in early 70s. Journey into radical humanism started in early 70s. After BTech from IIT Delhi, I joined an industry. I started working in industry, and because I was slightly politically oriented, I was understanding the political situation in the country when Mrs. Gandhi was in power, and I was disturbed by the dictatorial tendencies that she was showing. And that time I came across a magazine, this RH journal, Radical Humanist Journal, in the factory office. Probably somebody was collecting advertisements from the factory, and there I read because they had printed a speech by Roy in the Kolkata conference in 1948, the speech that he made while dissolving Radical Democratic Party. And in that speech, he had said, because why I got interested in the speech was in that write-up, because I could see dictatorial tendencies rising up in Mrs. Gandhi. And I wondered, why did Roy dissolve the party in 1948 when elections were due, first democratic elections in India in 1952, and he dissolved the party in 48. That was the time when Janasangha was formed, when Swatantra Party was formed, and many new parties were coming up to fight elections and to get their share in power. And Roy dissolved the party, so that intrigued me. And in that, Roy explained that India has been in the feudal age, and therefore mindset of Indians is largely feudal. So they don't see and they don't see other person as equal, either they see in the terms of the caste or in terms of the status in the ruling hierarchy. So they don't see the person as equals. And people are backward. Even the religious beliefs, superstitions, all these things I had seen. So people are backward. He said if the people are backward, they are not educated in democratic principles, so then a biggest demagogue will become the ruler and biggest democrat. He will be known as the biggest democrat. And he'll keep fooling people, and the party will develop a vested interest in keeping the people backward. And therefore, from democratic institutions and democratic parliamentary setup or whatever we adopt, from that a dictatorship will emerge, a dictator will emerge, and that will subvert the system. Yes. And therefore, he said party is not needed, because the party to go into electoral politics, and then you have to play the games of electoral politics. You have to do everything that other people are doing to get into power, and you have to do everything that other people do to keep yourself in power. Yes. And then you forget, and the best is to keep people backward. And therefore, what party people should be doing, what radical Democrats or radical humanists should be doing, is to educate people in democracy. So that idea I liked very much. And then Mrs. Gandhi was showing up the signs of dictatorship. And then I looked up the journal, who is publishing this journal. Mm-hmm. And then I saw the publisher was Vinod Jain, and Justice Takunde was the editor. Mm-hmm. And I was working in an industry which was just 40 kilometers from Delhi. Mm-hmm. So in the next visit to Delhi, I searched for Vinod Jain and Takunde sir. And Vinod Jain, I had the first introduction. I went to his house because his address was published. And then I came in contact with Takunde later on. And then in 74 the movement started. And I left my job in 74. I resigned from my job and joined M.Tech Masters in IIT Delhi again, so that I can participate in the movement. And people in JNU were very active at that time in the movement, in JP movement. So then I started my M.Tech and also started participating in the movement. And that time I had formed a group in IIT, and I organized a full one-day workshop where I invited Justice Tarkunde to address the workshop. And that's how I came in very close contact with him. And then we started, I started going to all the conferences and study camps, and emergency was declared. And then a study camp was organized in Dehradun. And my parents said that emergency has been declared, people are being arrested. And he had received a circular from the government, because he was a government servant, that if your children, your wards participate in any anti-emergency activity, anti-government activity, you can be thrown out of the job. So he said, we have come from what is now Pakistan as refugees, we have no house of our own, and if we'll be on the street because of your activity. But even then, I had already booked my journey to Dehradun, and I went to Dehradun study camp. After that, I attended many conferences and many study camps, and that's how I've been in the movement. 1942 movement, like S.N. Puri, Pandey.
And I think Sibnaran Ray was there.
I met Shivnaran Ray also. And in Bombay, C.R. Darvi, and this Indutai Parekh, and Dr. Parekh, who was also rector of Bombay University, so G.D. Parekh.
Okay.
So all these people I met, and Lakshman Shastri Joshi also.
During 1999, here that World Humanist Conference was held at Mumbai. At that time, we all attended that meeting. We were there. And Tarkunde, Shindre, everybody is there.
One I attended in the center. I don't know. I don't remember what was that. But
Palkats from US also attended that conference.
Palkats,
yes.
Present activities. What are your present activities?
Present activities.
IRI. In IRI.
In IRI. Under IRI, we don't have any radical humanists left in Pune and Bombay region.
Okay.
So that's why under IRI there's nothing. But on the current situation, we have done a lot of things. That when there were, because we have an NGO, we have a strong base, and we also interact with many other organizations in Pune. So what we have done is, when there was an attack on Muslims in Gujarat massacre happened. After that, before that, slightly after that, in the block where we are working, in that block also Muslim houses were attacked, and some rumors were spread that Osama bin Laden has come and planted bombs. So in 40 villages we took out a Sadbhavna Yatra for creating goodwill among Hindus and Muslims. And so during that time, some teachers said that why don't you take these messages of secularism or communal harmony to the schools, because young people are being drawn into this wave of Hindutva. So then we started going to about 20 high schools in the block, and where every 15 days we have constitutional values, we have lectures with the students. That has been going on since 2003. And after 2003, we all started a democracy festival in Pune, entirely organized by the organization that we started, Masoom. It was that first terrorist attack on democratic values was murder of Gandhi.
Yes.
And the option is either we fall into that trap and they take over, or do we believe in democratic values? That is 26th January when the constitution came into being. So from 26th January to 30th January, we celebrate democracy festival. That let us celebrate. Everyone is shouting that democracy is useless. So we have democracy and we should strengthen it. There is no alternative. Alternative to weak democracy is strong democracy. So therefore we should celebrate that we have democracy. So we had 5-day festival here, where some discussions, some music programs, some exhibitions and things like that were in different colleges, some programs. These were organized. And that time some 17 organizations from Pune, they came up and they said that they will form an organizing committee. And from 2003 to up until today, every year is organizing committee of 17 organizations. They hold this democracy festival. And now it has, because it has come in newspapers, so now it's being celebrated in 9 other districts of Maharashtra. And the preparation starts in November itself. So now 24th November, this year also there is a meeting, state level meeting of people who are organizing democracy festival in their organization, in their districts. So that way different activities, we react to different events and we hold public meetings on freedom of expression, and we have been threatened also, but we are continuing with these activities. We hold demonstrations, we hold processions. So that these activities are going on with the help of all other progressive organizations in Pune.